Hi kiddos. Hello everyone. Good morning. Our today's subject is history and our topic is religious trends in ancient India. In last week we learned about, what did we learn children? We learned about Christianity, Zoroastrianism. Let's look into Islam and more often Zoroastrianism in this chapter. Before we start, as you know, we will do a recapitulation. Let's look at the next slide. Yes. Now, what is the first question? Who will read for me? Okay. Any one of you, or I'll read for you all? Okay, I'll read for you all. What was the birth name of Gautam Buddha? What was the birth name of Gautam Buddha, children? Who will answer? Yes. What was the birth name of Gautam Buddha? Yes, Pratik, you can answer. Yes, Pratik, unmute yourself and answer. What was the name of Gautam Buddha? Yes, what was the name of Gautam Buddha? It was Siddharth. Very good. Gautam Buddha's first name was Siddharth. His mother gave him the name Siddharth. Gautam Buddha's name was Siddharth. Let's look at the second question now. What is the second question, children? Second question is, where was Gautam Buddha born? Who will answer this question? Where was Gautam Buddha born? Yes? You all can unmute yourself and answer. Where was Gautam Buddha born, children? Yes? Yes, Sahil? Yes, I can hear you. Please answer. Where was Gautam Buddha born? Very good. Gautam. Hello? Gautam. Yes, children, I can hear you. Answer. Very good. Very nice. So, he was born in Bihar, but there was also one place, beta. What was that place? Yes, beta, it was Bihar, right? You are right. It was not Bihar. Gautam Buddha was born at Lumbini in Nepal. Where he was born? He was born at Lumbini in Nepal. It was not Bihar. Okay. Gautam Buddha was born at Lumbini, Nepal, right? And his first name was Siddharth. Let's look at the third question. What is the third question, children? The third question is, yes, beta, I'm reading, beta. Where did Gautam Buddha attain enlightenment? Where did Gautam Buddha attain enlightenment? Who will answer this question now? Yes?
Gautam Buddha was attained enlightenment at under a peepal tree at Urevela near the city of Gaya in Bihar.
Very good, very nice. Full answer, very good. Very nice. Yes. Gautam, uh, Gautam Buddha. Yes, you are right. Yes. Now I'll just continue with my answer. Gautam Buddha attained enlightenment. Where you said? Yes, under a peepal tree at Uruvela near the city of Gaya in Bihar. That is when he attained Bodhi. He was enlightened himself and he got the highest knowledge, children. This I have already told you in the last lesson. Let's look at the next question. So what is the next question? Where did Gautam Buddha deliver his first sermon? So where did Gautam Buddha deliver his first sermon? Any one of you can answer?
Gautam Buddha delivered first reason at Sarnath near Varanasi.
Very good, very nice. Gautam Buddha delivered his first sermon at Sarnath near Varanasi. Okay, and what is sermon? As I told you, sermon is something, a talk on religious or moral subject. Very good, children, very nice. Let's look at the last question. Which language did Gautam Buddha use? What was the language for his teaching he used, children? Who can answer this?
Mahatma Gandhi.
Oh, that was for Vardhaman Mahavir. For Gautam Buddha, the language was Pali. What he preached the people in the language Pali, not in Ardhamagadi. Ardhamagadi is for
Gautam Buddha
Vardha.
Sanskrit
Teach the
language.
people Pali language. Which language? Pali language. Very good, very nice, children. Let's look ahead now. Let's look at the next slide. Here are the answers. Here are the answers. The Gautam Buddha's name, Siddharth, where he was born is Lumbini, attain enlightenment at Gaya, deliver his first sermon at Sarnath, and Gautam Buddha used Pali language. It is not Ardhamagadi. Ardhamagadi has been used by Vardhaman Mahavir. Okay, children. Now, let's look at the next slide. So, today we will be learning about 5.4, that is Christianity. As you can see on your right side, there is a picture. That is a picture of a cross. That's a symbol, right? Christianity is a religion founded by Jesus Christ. It has spread all over the world. Who is the founder of Christianity? Jesus Christ. You all must have read books. You all must have seen on the TV, television. Also, you all must have heard from your parents or your elders telling you about the story of Jesus Christ, how he was hanged on the cross. So you know who is Jesus Christ. We celebrate Christmas. You remember we get in Christmas, you have Christmas vacation, and that time they celebrate Jesus Christ birth. So in this way, Christianity was founded by Jesus Christ. Now, it has spread all over the world. St. Thomas, one of the 12 disciples of Christ, came to Kerala in the first century of Christian era. Now, who is St. Thomas? You must be thinking, who is St. Thomas, teacher? So, St. Thomas is one of the 12 disciples. What is now disciples? The one who was being chosen by the God. One who is chosen by the God. Who is, as you know, Christianity in India is the third largest religion after Hinduism and Islam. So Christianity started beginning in India. Now, he established a church at Palayur in Trichur district. What is Palayur? It is famous for St. Thomas Church. It is a place, okay, children? And Trichur is a city in Kerala. Trichur is a city in Kerala. According to the teaching of Christianity, there is only one God. He is the loving Father of all and is omnipotent. What is omnipotent? For all powerful, unlimited power. He has all the powers. He is all powerful. Okay, that is known as omnipotent. It is believed that Jesus Christ is the Son of God who came to the earth for the salvation of mankind. So Jesus Christ is one of the Son of God who came on the earth for the salvation. Now, what is salvation? The process of being saved. Something should be saved. The human beings, there was so much of problem. So Jesus Christ was one of them who helped the people. He came for the process of being saved for the mankind. Let's look at the next slide. In the next slide, you can see on the right side, the church. Let's see what it is. According to the teachings of Christianity, we are all brothers and sisters. We should love everyone including our enemies. According to the Christian, their teaching says that we all are brother and sisters. There is no nothing like higher class, middle class, or lower class. It is that we all are same. We are all brothers and sisters. We should love everyone, including our enemy. Even that person is our enemy, we should love him. We should not hate him. Okay, this is the teaching given by the Christianity. We should forgive those who err or go wrong. Now, what is err? Errors means somebody who makes mistake. You say no, errors. I made a mistake. So one who makes mistakes also or goes wrong also, we should forgive them and try to take him on a right path. The Bible is the holy book of Christianity. There is a Bible is the holy book. The person who follows Christianity, they read the Bible and they follow the Bible sayings. And their prayer house is known as a church. Their prayer house is known as a church. Now, children, let's look at the next slide. Now, we have done with 5.4. Now, 5.5 is about Islam. Islam is also known as Muslim. As on the right side, you can see the picture. It helps you to identify. Islam is monotheistic religion. As I told you last time also, monotheistic means something which is not comparable. You cannot compare with anything. Every religion is on their own. You cannot compare them. There is only one Allah and Muhammad in his prophet. Now, what is a prophet? You know, children, one who speaks by divine inspiration. Means he has got the knowledge from the books, whatever he has read, and he is the one who speaks about the God, whatever the teaching has to be, what teaching he will give, in what way we have to go, what are good, what are bad. All these things is one who is guiding. So one who speaks about the divine inspiration. The message of God is revealed through him in the holy book of Quran Sharif. The prophet, he knows about Allah and he has he knows everything about it and he has written that everything in the Quran Sharif. This is the holy book of Muslims. The Muslims read this book so that they understand how to follow the Islam religion. The word Islam means peace. The word Islam means peace. It also means surrender to Allah. It means you have to just believe in the God, Allah, and you have to praise him. The teaching of Islam is that Allah is eternal, absolute, all-powerful and merciful. He is eternal, he is very powerful, he is everywhere, and he is merciful means he forgives his children. If you go wrong, if you have done some sin, that is if you have done something wrong, he will forgive you, and he is so merciful that he will also forgive and show you the direction, proper direction in which you have to go. The purpose of human existence is to worship Allah. The Quran Sharif provides guidance on how man should behave in his life. The Quran Sharif helps him how he has to behave in his life. Children, Islam is the second largest religion in India. Okay, and it is followed by many of them. People are like, as you can see, I have told you, Islam reached in India in the very early period. And it is believed that one of the prophet is the one they all follow. Okay, children? Now, let's look at the next slide. In the next slides, as I told you, since ancient times, there have been trade relations between India and Arabia. Now, Arab traders used to visit the ports on the coast of Kerala. Now, children, what is ports? I think you know this. It's a place on the sea coast. Okay, there was a trade, you know, from the shipping from one place to another, things used to go. Okay, because of this, what happened? The Arabs came to India. In which century? It is in 7th century. This how the Islam spread in Arabia in the 7th century. Islam arrived in India in the same century through the Arab traders. Because of this trading, it also arrived in India. The prayer house of Islam is known as mosque or masjid. Children, you can see on the right side, this is a mosque or masjid where the gents go and offer their prayers. Okay, let's look at the next slide. Now, next slide is about Zoroastrianism. So what is Zoroastrianism? It is a word which I think we haven't heard usually in our daily use language. But Zoroastrianism is nothing different, children. It is the Parsi. Let's look into it. Since ancient times, the Zoroastrian people and Vedic people have shared ties. They have shared ties. There was a bond, tie between them. The sacred text of the Parsi or Zoroastrian people is the Avesta. The sacred text of the Parsi or Zoroastrian people is the Avesta. It is known as Avesta. The language of the Rig Veda and Avesta is similar. Both these Rig Veda and Avesta have the same language. The Parsi came to India from the Pars or Fars province of Iran. So where have the Parsis come from? They have come from Iran. Therefore, they are known as Parsis. They have come from the Pars or Fars province of Iran. That is why they are known as Parsis. Now, children, when you look at this Zoroastrianism, it is one of the world's oldest continuously practiced religion. Okay, it is one of the old one. It is multifaceted faith centered on a dualistic cosmology, and evil, all these things have come into together. Even these things have some elements into it. Okay, because two of them have come together. Now, it is mostly believed that they first came to Gujarat in the 8th century CE. So first in India, where did they come? They came into Gujarat, the Gujarat state, and then it went ahead. As on my right side, you can see the picture of the symbol of the Parsis religion. Let's go ahead. Next slide. Now, Zarathustra or Zoroaster was the founder of their religion. This person was the founder of the religion. Ahura Mazda is the name of their god. The name of their god is Ahura Mazda. The elements of fire and water are very important in their religion. In Parsis, water and fire, these elements are very important. There is like, they believe into it. The sacred fire burns in the temple, which are known as Agyaris. This is known as Agyaris. Children, as you can see on my right side, that this is a picture which is showing about Agyaris. It keeps on, the sacred fire burns in the temple wherever they go and perform their prayer. Okay, this fire keeps on burning. So they believe into fire and water. As I showed you in the first picture, the symbol, that symbol is always there on their temple. At the core of Parsi thinking are three main principles of conduct. What are the three main principles? Namely, good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Good thoughts, you should have always good thinking. Good words, you should speak very good to the others. Your words should not harm anyone. And good deeds, think about others also good. Don't think about others bad. In this way, this was about Zoroastrianism. So children, we have learned so far about all these religions. We have learned about Vardhaman Mahavir, which the religion was about Jainism. Then we learned about Lord Buddha, where the religion was about Buddha. Then there was also, we learned about Christianity. We learned about also Islam. We also learned about Zoroastrianism. In this way, all these religions, trends in ancient period, how they took place. We have gone through all these things so far. Okay, children. Now, in the next slide, I'll be asking you to answer this question. These are very easy. This time I haven't given you questions. This is a fill in the blank. This is a homework for all of you. I'll just read for you. Dash is a religion founded by Jesus Christ. Second, Islam is a dash religion. Third, the sacred text of the Parsi or Zoroastrian people is the dash. The language of the Rig Veda and dash is similar. The sacred fire in the temples, which are known as dash. The prayer house of Islam is known as dash. I hope this is very easy for you all. Okay, I have finished with my lesson. Okay, children, thank you so much.